What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'll break down what's happening with the overall market thus far, what's going on with the other factors involving the charts, what you should be watching for as time progresses. But before I begin the devil's information, before I talk about all these different charts and what's happening with the earnings and data, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Weeble link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 of them. And the offer ends very soon in just 1 week, in just 7 days. Anyways, for the market right now, we're going to be breaking down some very important developments. We're seeing the market attempting to bounce, attempting to push a little bit higher. In order for this to happen, we have to watch for other factors and some big market moving events. So, with the whole Israel and Iran situation, let me just make it clear. I was looking into it. I didn't really see any signs of more escalation so far. The situation's not entirely eased, I would say, but it's at the same time we're not seeing like new attacks, new threats. So that's a very, very good sign so far. For the markets, I just want to call out that 15 minutes after the market opens at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the S&P Global Composite PMI coming out, manufacturing and services PMI data. This could cause some volatility because these sections are very, very important, and they could cause the market to move a bit depending on how things are looking and how these different indicators look for the economy. Then later on at 10 o'clock a.m., we also have new home sales and more manufacturing numbers that could cause some volatility. And those are the main pieces of data for the day, the PMI reports, and also the manufacturing numbers. Then after all this data comes out, we have some bill auctions at 11:30 and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's pretty much it, at least for the time being. The main pieces of data come out for the first 15 and 30 minutes of market open, so look for volatility at those times. Now, when it comes to the overall markets, the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, not to mention our Dow Jones are all trying to recover a bit right here after having 6-day losing streaks, and crude prices are falling as we're seeing signs that Iran is not going to escalate its conflict with Israel. That's a good sign so far. Now, on top of all of this, GM had its earnings. I'll be talking about that in just a few minutes. Then we also have Tesla. Tesla's going to be announcing its earnings as well. Tesla's share price dropped quite a bit after they announced, big price cuts on their SUVs and sedans across the US, also in China and Germany and other European countries. So the question is, can Tesla end up doing something very, very spectacular after they announce their earnings, or is Tesla about to shift? We'll have to wait and see. But Tesla is going to be key, at least for all of this. There's more news coming out there that the Federal Trade Commission on Monday sued to block Coach's parents. Uh, this is going to be very important after the $8.5 billion acquisition of Capri Holdings. That's very important as well, and that's part of why we're seeing some more volatility. Now, let me just go over the earnings real quick before I break down the charts. So for today, if you look at Tuesday right over here, you will see that we had GM, UPS, GE, and PepsiCo announce their earnings. And after the market closes, we have Tesla announcing its earnings as well. And Tesla is going to be very, very key for what's about to happen. So starting off with, we have PepsiCo right over here. They did relatively well from what I'm looking at right over here. They beat estimates as the international demand has boosted their sales. We saw EPS at $1.61, revenue at 18.25 billion, once again above expectations, and their guidance was not bad. So the share price is once again still looking pretty decent. They reiterated their 2024 guidance, seeing a 4% increase in their revenue, and that's not bad whatsoever. For GM, I think I accidentally closed my tab with it, but I have it right over here. GM basically did very well from what I saw. They beat on EPS and revenue, and they raised their 2024 guidance. After a big beat, truck sales also increased quite a bit. We're starting to see good revenue rising 7.6%. So that's why GM is up more than 3 to 4%. Good guidance, good EPS and revenue beats, and they raised their overall 2024 guidance. For UPS, profits basically has beaten estimates, but they're trying to offset the weak delivery demand that they had. So they cut about 12,000 jobs in January to save $1 billion. And they also reported a 3.2% decline in the average daily volume. That's very important in the domestic segment. Revenue in both major businesses also fell short of expectations, according to reports. But to offset this, they're going to be once again focusing on different sectors. So overall, because they had some lackluster results, revenue actually came in lower than expected at 21.71 billion. And on top of this, EPS was decent, but that wasn't really enough for the share price to bounce. That's why it's a little bit down right now. Not that crazy though. For Tesla, we're seeing some estimates right now at a 46 cents EPS. So we'll have to see how things go for them there. Also, revenue, I'll talk more about that a little bit later. But for now, I just want to say that Tesla is going to be testing some resistance at 144. If we break this, we could try to fill this gap up to about 147. I see potential in Tesla to try to bounce at least temporarily, but then their earnings will determine if the bounce lasts or not. So, yes, it could push a little bit, but let me just make it very clear that despite Tesla trying to bounce, earnings is going to be the bigger driving factor in whether or not this gets a bigger bounce or not. So even if we do push up during the open hours today to fill this gap, if earnings are strong, we could go even higher, all the way up to the 170s. If earnings are poor and Tesla ends up not giving us the best of guidances, we could, even if we fill this gap today, even if we push a little bit, there could still be a big rug pull all the way back down into the 120s if Tesla does very, very horribly for their earnings. For Nvidia, we're trying to push right over here. We're going to be looking at this resistance at 805, break through this, and we have this price target at about this 820 area, just above this imbalance. So I see 813 to 820 coming if we continue to push. There is potential in Nvidia, in my opinion. For SPY, we're looking a bit more bullish right now. We're trying to hold above our 20 EMA. We could dip a bit, retest 501 to 500, and then continue pushing. I see this thing going up to 502, and if that breaks, look for 505. This chart is looking bullish. For the QQQ is looking bullish as well. There is potential for this to go all the way up to about 422.75. If that breaks, 425 is a possibility. I'm seeing potential in the QQQ looking bullish so far. Aapl looking a little bit bullish, not that strong. It's very, very choppy right now, but I could see 166 if this breaks. 167 is a possibility at our 20 EMA, so I might slowly try to push a bit higher. For a few more, like Coinbase is trying to push as well. We have this resistance at 227. We'll have to see if this breaks. If we could break past 227, look for push up 232. If we lose 223, we're going to be dropping to 220. I see potential for it to go a little bit higher from here. For Amazon, we're trying to push a little bit. If we break past 179, look for push for 181. If we end up losing support, we're going to be dipping to 176. I suspect it might actually try to push for at least 181. So I see potential in Amazon to push higher if it breaks the 20 EMA. If we try to push higher on Meta, we're going to be looking at 492. If that breaks, look for 499. If we lose 485, we turn bearish. I see potential for this to go a little bit higher. So there is potential in this chart. With that being said, I see potential in the market to push higher, even for Tesla specifically. However, like I said before, what's going to determine a lot for the markets and even for Tesla will be Tesla's earnings. We'll wait and see what Tesla does, so be patient with that. And with that being said, I just want to thank you all so much for listening. I'll see you guys again in about an hour and a half. Take care, guys. Do what you have to do and get ready for market open. And then don't forget, we're going to be looking for some volatility at 9:45 a.m. and 10 a.m. as we have some data coming out. So get ready for all of that, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Thank you for listening, and peace out.